What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. And in this video, we're going to be doing, I don't know if you guys may have seen the video. And hey, if you haven't, go ahead and check it out. We did a video talking about Brock Besser. And we also asked the question, how does he stack up to his draft class 10 years later after he was drafted? Obviously, Besser was drafted in 2015. And we talked about how he stacks up to those who were also drafted in 2015. And I really enjoyed doing that video, and you guys seem to really enjoy it as well, as it was one of my higher viewed videos as of recent. So I thought I'd do another one, but this time talking about Quinn Hughes and how he stacks up to the 2018 draft class and 7 years later. Obviously, this idea came due to an article written by Canucks Army's David Quadrelli, friend of the show, former guest on the podcast, and I thought it was cool that he wound up and did another one. We may actually turn this into a mini series of videos just to hold us over until the season starts, and more content obviously drops later on in the off season. But before I do that, and before we dive into the article, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, maker of that incredible artwork right there. And you guys can get your hands on your own artwork if you check them out at www.gassyjackart.com. You can also find them on Instagram at GassyJackArt. So let's go ahead and dive into the article and see and ask the question, how does Quinn Hughes stack up to the 2018 draft class? And we're going to go ahead and start by saying, thank God Quinn Hughes was classified as undersized by some talent evaluators. Thinking like that certainly didn't hurt the Canucks' chances of getting lucky enough to be able to select the Michigan D-man with the 7th overall pick. There were 6 players that were taken ahead of Quinn Hughes. You had Rasmus Dahlin, who was drafted 1st overall. You had Andrei Svechnikov, who was drafted 2nd overall. And you also had Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who was drafted 3rd overall. Those were your top 3 picks that year. You also had Brady Tkachuk, who was drafted 4th overall. You had Barrett Hayton, who was drafted 5th overall. And then you also had Philip Zadina, who was drafted 6th overall, just one draft ahead of Quinn Hughes. Other notable names taken in the draft after Hughes were Evan Bouchard at 10th overall, Noah Dobson at 12th overall to the New York Islanders. Obviously, we know now Noah Dobson is a Montreal Canadien, having been traded to the Montreal Canadiens earlier on in this offseason. You had Joel Farabee at 14th to Philadelphia, Keandre Miller, 22nd to the New York Rangers, who was also traded this past offseason to the Carolina Hurricanes. Isaac Lundstrom, 23rd to Anaheim, Rasmus Sandin, 29th to Toronto, Joe Veleno, 30th to Detroit, and Alex Romanov, 38th to Montreal. Now, in this part, we take a look at how Quinn Hughes stacks up to his draft class. In a redraft of the 2018 draft class, Hughes almost certainly goes 1st overall. Here are some numbers, keeping in mind that Hughes is a defenseman and Norris Trophy winner as well. Hughes leads the class in both assists with 350 and points with 409, as well as points per game with at least 100 games played. Of players with at least 400 games played, Hughes has the fewest penalty minutes of anyone with 175. Hughes is also the only player in the entire draft class to win a major NHL award. So that is the article, a little quick one from David, and we're actually going to take a look at the actual 2018 NHL draft. And actually, I'm going to share the screen. So give me one quick sec while I pull that up. By the way, that thumbnail I had a lot of fun doing. Obviously, I had a lot of fun doing the Brock Besser one as well. And I'm going to be basically having that as the style for each of these videos, for whoever ends up being the next one chosen. Who knows, maybe I will choose one myself. We shall see. But taking a look at the draft class, let me just see if I can increase the size so you guys can see. Not quite sure if that worked. Yeah, you guys can see it pretty good. Okay, let's start from the top. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, Rasmus Dahlin was drafted first overall. He's played 8 seasons in the NHL now with 509 games played, 83 goals, 277 assists, 360 points, and 378 penalty minutes. Then you have Andrei Svechnikov, who we also mentioned, was drafted second overall, 8 seasons, 478 games played, 151 goals, 213 assists, 364 points, and 427 penalty minutes. Then you have Jesperi Kotkaniemi, 8 seasons, 476 games played, 76 goals, 118 assists, 194 points. So out of those top 3, Kotkaniemi has the lowest point total, which is a little surprising. Obviously, with him being a top 3 pick, you would think that his point totals would be higher, but everyone knows that Kotkaniemi has struggled in recent years and hasn't really lived up to a third overall pick player, and with 234 penalty minutes. And then you have Brady Tkachuk, 8 seasons, 512 games played, 191 goals, 213 assists, 404 points, and obviously penalty minutes. This is Brady Tkachuk we're talking about, of course, 750. Like, that is insane. 5th overall, you had Barrett Hayton, 7 seasons played, 291 games, 7 seasons, 291 games played, 55 goals, 75 assists, 130 points, 147 penalty minutes. Filip Zadina, you have 6 seasons, 262 games played, 41 goals, 50 assists, and 91 points, 40 penalty minutes. Quinn Hughes, obviously we already mentioned, 433 games, 59 goals, 350 assists, 409 points, 175 penalty minutes. You have Adam Boquist. I probably completely butchered that name. Apologies for that. 7 seasons, 244 games played, 27 goals, 72 assists, 99 points, 50 penalty minutes. Then you have Vitaly Kravtsov, and Canucks fans will probably recognize this name because he had a short stint with the Canucks. 2 seasons played, 64 games played, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points, 14 penalty minutes. Then you have Evan Bouchard, 347 games played, 55 goals, 183 assists, 238 points, and 124 penalty minutes. You have Oliver Wahlstrom, who was drafted 11th overall, 6 seasons, 236 games played, 37 goals, 36 assists, 73 points, 176 penalty minutes. Then you have Noah Dobson that we mentioned at 12th overall. So the New York Islanders had back-to-back picks, 11 and 12 in this draft. Dobson, 388 games played, 50 goals, 180 assists, 230 points, and 118 penalty minutes. Then you have Ty Dellandrea, drafted by the Dallas Stars, 13th overall, 6 seasons played, 219 games played, 15 goals, 35 assists, 50 points, 159 penalty minutes. You have Joel Farabee, drafted 14th overall, as we mentioned, 7 seasons, 415 games played, 93 goals, 114 assists, 207 total points, and 229 penalty minutes. Obviously, you're seeing a bit of a pattern with the penalty minutes, as Brady Tkachuk, 750, and you have, except for maybe Svechnikov, at least so far, no one's really broke past 400 in these penalty minutes. As we keep going down, you can see some known names like Keandre Miller that we mentioned, Jacob Bernard-Docker from the Ottawa Senators, Rasmus Sandin that we mentioned, Joe Veleno. Obviously, you can also notice with the 2018 draft class, not a whole lot of big names in this, with the exception of, Rasmus Dahlin, Svechnikov, Kotkaniemi, Brady Tkachuk, Barrett Hayton, Quinn Hughes, Bouchard, Dobson, Joel Farabee. So not a whole lot of well-known names in the first round. Keandre Miller, Rasmus Kupari. And then once you get into the second round, you see even lesser-known names. But, of course, you see a familiar face in Jet Wu, who was drafted in the second round, 37th overall. He has yet to play an actual NHL game yet. You got Jack Drury from the Carolina Hurricanes, who was, of course, traded earlier this season in Mikko Rantanen trade. You have Martin Ferravari. Kirill Marchenko is probably one of the few well-known names in the second round. 4 seasons, 216 games played, 75 goals, 66 assists, 141 points. You have Sean Durzi, Kalen Addison, Kevin Ball, Jack McBain in the third round. 5 seasons played, 241 games played, 35 goals, 47 assists, 82 points. You have Ty Emberson, who's not a well-known name, but a name that is currently playing right now. You have Lucas Dostal, who just recently signed an extension with the Anaheim Ducks, drafted in the third round, 85th overall. Connor Dewar, Ryan O'Reilly, Joel Hofer, Paul Cotter, Ivan Prosvetov, although he's not, he's played 6 seasons, so I guess he's somewhat of a no-name. Philip Kurashev, line mate of Connor Bedard. And then you get to Igor Sharangovich, 360 games played, 6 seasons, 101 goals, 96 assists, 197 points. And then it just kind of drops off a little bit there. Obviously, you got guys like Pontus Holmberg, Kevin Mandolese, probably butchered the last name as well. And then as we go into round 7, you see a lot of blanks, meaning all these blanks, these players did not play in the NHL. And then, that is the end of that. So, let me just, hang on. Come on. Okay, stop sharing. Let's get back to here. There we go. So, there you go. That is how Quinn Hughes stacks up to the 2018 draft class. Obviously, as what Quaz mentioned in the article, he says, if they did a redraft, Quinn Hughes would be the obvious first overall, just based on, what he's been able to do so far in his NHL career. Obviously, as we mentioned, he's leading in points and assists, as well as points per game. Has the fewest penalty minutes with at least 400 games. Is also the only player in the entire draft class to win an NHL award, which is a little crazy to think. You would think Brady Tkachuk would have won something, but he hasn't. Same thing with Rasmus Dahlin and Jesperi Kotkaniemi, as well as Andrei Svechnikov. They've yet to win an NHL award. So that is how Quinn Hughes stacks up to the 2018 draft class. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you guys want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. You can find it and interact with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, just search The Line Change. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on X at Line Change Man. You can find us on TikTok at the TLC Podcast. You can also find us on Blue Sky at The Line Change. And feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. If you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. on Spotify, feel free to give us a follow as well as rate and review us. It is, of course, greatly appreciated. But yeah, again, if you guys like this video, be sure go ahead and post in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of this. Also, if you guys want, let me know if you guys want me to continue doing these videos, as they're very insightful, and it's just content for while we wait for the season to start. Also, a reminder, this upcoming Tuesday, so at the time of this recording, it is technically Sunday morning. This video will be published on Monday, so it will be, by the time you guys watch this, it'll be tomorrow, technically, that I'm going to have Dave Hall joining the podcast. We're going to talk prospects. We're going to talk Vancouver Canucks. We're going to talk Abbotsford Canucks as well. And who knows, maybe we'll talk about some future prospects that might be coming up in the pipeline. So be sure to check that out. On Tuesday, we'll be going live at 3 p.m. So you're not going to want to miss that. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Let's go Canucks. And I'll see you guys in the next video.